And you are looking live at Death Valley, San Bernardino Valley College, as the Wolverines have started practice. No pads or helmets yet, but we're getting ready for the 2019 season. This is the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified, high atop SBVC. My name is Pep Fernandez, joined as always by Jeff Gorham. Jeff, we've sweated a lot up here atop the press box for these Wolverines games before.
Yeah, in fact, we were talking beforehand. I think the first game that they played in this stadium, we were here, and it was unbearably hot. I think I lost 10 pounds that game, and
not such a bad thing.
No, it was great. It was a great time to lose some weight. But I'll tell you what, this tonight, a perfect night to watch a little practice and hang out here with Coach in the nicest facility in the Inland Empire.
Now, the last time I saw this guy, he gave me I think it was a rose. You gave me a flower, just out of appreciation. And thank you, Coach. I appreciate
that.
Give it
to your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's more so for her. But, Coach, we appreciate you joining us. We're excited for another season of SBVC football. Is it really going to be your third year?
It is.
Does it feel like 3 years?
No, it just hit me the other day. Shoot, we're going into year 3. We better figure it out. Yeah.
Well, we got the team down here, and we look around and we see a lot of your faces. But one that we don't see, and obviously he's a local guy, is Armando Herrera. Record book here, but you got a
really intelligent. He's certainly because he is such a good field general, but physically, very special guy that I've been around.
What's going on below us here, as I mentioned, but
we want to cultivate kind of our culture. Obviously we're a no huddle offense, and on the defensive side, we want to get to the ball. We want to be there fast. We want to be there, get there violently, arrive angry, kind of those things. So want to do that, and then be able to keep our cool and tag off on our teammates and get through it. So, yeah.
Well, coming off a year in which you guys were 9-2, American Mountain Champs, make it to the American Conference Championship game, now that bar has kind of been established, do you feel like that's kind of the goal again this season for this team, even though it's a new team, I guess you could say? But
yeah, no, we treat them as a completely new team, but I think those goals are there. I think the talent is there that we want to achieve those type of things year in, year out. And I think the first time we chatted, we said that we want to win our conference. Winning conference is very, very important to us. And when we start off this year, we have some very important games against, we don't have any real slouches in that preseason, so we got to be ready to rock and roll. And then obviously opening up with Fullerton with a scrimmage, we get out of the gate with a good one.
Well, speaking of your schedule, we're going to pop it up here in just a second. And you're right, you've got a tough non-conference going back in to defend your conference title as well. September 7th against Santa Ana, that is your season opener. So between now and then, what are the things you want to see out of your team before that September 7th game?
I think probably more important than anything is getting these freshmen into classes and oriented to college and ready to go. That way, when things happen down the line and in school, they're ready and they're equipped for all of that. So I think there's that on the football side. Obviously, again, same thing that we preach during the summer. We can do that without pads, and I think that's kind of a recurrent theme that if you're going to coach football these days, you got to be able to do it without a ton of contact, like might have been done 10, 15, 20 years ago or before that. So we made the adjustment, and we don't think that we always need pads to set the culture, the philosophy, and the things that we're doing. But we certainly got to practice it. Practice tackling with pads and things like that when we get there. But speed and making plays and going in 100% all game long, no matter what.
There's the schedule. Again, IEMG will be your home for SBVC football this season. So the games will be live on the IE Media Group YouTube channel, tape delayed for TV Channel 3. There's the complete schedule. So we'll be here live for the SBVC home games. Coach, we got to ask you about RCC. They're back on the schedule, too. Obviously, you don't want to shy away from anybody. Now you go to their place, Wheelock.
Yeah. Well, definitely played there when coaching at a couple other institutions, so familiar with it. Obviously, they're a great home team. They got a great record at home over the years. So we'll go in there. It's on the schedule. It's another game, but obviously for us and for them, you could see how they wanted to play and how our pregame played out and all that. It's a little bit more than just another game for everybody. So we're going to show up and do our thing. So we'll see.
Now, you're a cerebral guy. You like the Rubik's
He's a
Cube.
magician.
My mother tells me that. Yeah, my wife doesn't agree.
You read, you do magic, you watch the Tour de France. A Renaissance man out here on the gridiron. You introduce cornhole to the guys. Just talk about the ways you try to keep the guys loose, keep the mind working, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got some over the line action. We got some tug of war. You know, anytime that we finish up like a water break or something, we got to come back with something extremely engaging and competitive. So we have different things every day. Obviously today we got some air quality issues, so we're gonna have to chop down practice quite a bit, keep it easy on the lungs. So you know we're and take a short water break and do a little bit more team after that, and then we'll be going to a walkthrough. So. You know, you won't see today's planned water balloon fight. You know, that's going to be.
We laugh, but he's probably serious.
No, no, it's easy. You get those 60 balloons at once now. So that was going to be our conditioning drill, but we're going to have to pull that out. So you know, Nerf guns are going to have to get pushed back a day. But you know, if I'll run after somebody just to tag them, I'd run a little bit harder if a Nerf ball was coming at me. So you know, you got to have fun. When you're doing it, but I've been practicing for this day for a long time, so we're ready to rock and roll with balloons when those come tomorrow.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate the time. We know you're on the clock right now,
Of course,
so we'll let you get down to practice, but we do appreciate it, and best of luck this upcoming season.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah,
See you in a bit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll be down there for the water balloon fight or I'll come back tomorrow, whatever it takes.
We'll do it. Okay. Thank you.
Coach Elgadas, head coach of the Wolverines here, is again still kind of those summer workout time before we lead into fall training camp. Although it's not technically the fall, right, Jeff? I mean, we call it fall training camp, but we're talking about like August.
Yeah, it's summer. I mean, we're going to go all August, September, and part of October. I remember last year in October, we hit triple digits a few times. So I look at summer kind of as starting now as we're getting ready to start school again. It definitely feels like summer.
Well, Coach Elgadas had mentioned Jeremy Musa, the transfer from Roosevelt High School. Man, he was a good one for Tommy Leach out there with Roosevelt. If they didn't have, Centennial in the Big 8 League, Roosevelt had some really good teams when he was quarterbacking the Mustangs. So that's a huge addition for SBVC to get, Jeremy Musa, who signed with Hawaii. In fact, we had him on the Inland Sports Show. Remember on signing day?
Yeah, signing day.
We had him in studio.
Yeah, he was there early. In fact, he went in, arrived at University of Hawaii early, got a little extra run in. In fact, they've got a couple of U of H transfers. Greeley, another tight end. He was up to University of Hawaii. He's back, and I know that a lot of that has to do with the assistant coach, Lance Pfeiffer, who happens to be best friends with the Greeley family.
Yeah, Keith Greeley, right, the dad.
Yeah, in fact, if the Greeley brothers transferred anywhere else but San Bernardino Valley College, I couldn't see Lance Pfeiffer ever allowed to coach here again without getting his best friend.
How dare
his kids.
they, right?
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah, so much.
So this is going to be a pretty good SBVC team this season. Again, Cade Greeley, I'm just going to go out on a limb. He might be the go-to guy in the red zone. He's just a mismatch nightmare.
Well, yeah, when you're 6'6", 6'7", lanky,
would
athletic.
know, but you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to stop somebody, and he's got great leaping ability. So, yeah, he's going to be tough to stop. My biggest question is we've seen Elgadas kind of close this gap between Riverside City College and San Bernardino Valley just in the 2.5 years he's been here.
Quick turnaround.
I mean, huge turnaround. And look at the local talent he's brought in. He talked about being, the conference champion. But I think down the line, he's like any big-time coach, he wants that state championship, which is definitely within reach. But, he's got to take care of business in his conference, and he's got to beat the Riversides. And I do see them taking that step up this season. We've seen him make these big steps the last two. Why not the third? Yeah,
in this American Conference, they can go all the way and win that championship, which they reached the title game. In fact, if you ask me, they should have beat Allen Hancock. But, yeah, they should make a pretty good run. Their only losses last season were RCC and to Allen Hancock in that American Conference Championship game at the end of the season. All right, we have an interview with Musa. Let's see if it's going to roll. Here's Jeremy Musa from Roosevelt High School, the former Mustang star, talking about his decision to leave Hawaii and join Inland Sports.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, Coach Elgadas is one of the main reasons I came here. I wanted to learn from him, get as good as I could be before I transfer out to another D1 at the end of the year. I mean, I've learned a lot from him so far, and then he's a great guy to learn from. He has a great attitude, keeps it light, and he's really knowledgeable about the game as well.
Was it a tough decision to leave Hawaii and come here?
I mean, I was thinking about it for a while. I didn't think it was the best situation for me at this point in my career. I didn't know what I should do at first, but after sitting and talking about it with my parents and then hearing from Coach Algadas and stuff, it was a pretty easy decision at that point. I kind of just wanted to finish out the season with my teammates and make sure I fulfill my commitment to Hawaii first before I left and had to do what's best for me.
Armando Herrera had a huge year last year for SBVC. Does that get you excited? Like, this is a team that likes to score a lot of points. They to snap that ball a lot.
That was one of the main reasons. I mean, they throw the ball around the yard a lot, and I'm the type of quarterback that can do that. I can play in a couple systems, but hey, if you get to throw the ball 50 times a game, that's good to me. You can put up stats, and you're going to get noticed like that. I mean, similar to the offense I ran at Roosevelt in high school, and I'm looking up to put up better numbers than that. So.
All right, so that was Jeremy Musa, the transfer from the University of Hawaii, bringing his talents here to Death Valley. And, Jeff, we've talked about this before. Algadas is, the quarterback whisperer.
He is the guru.
He does a lot of great things with quarterbacks. And we already knew Armando Herrera was a stud based on what he did at Redlands East Valley, but he got here. He broke all the records. He looked like he should be starting at USC. Maybe he should be based on who they've got at quarterback right now. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he was that good, and I think – having a great, talented quarterback with a quarterback guru like Algadas, it's a match made in heaven. I think Musa's going to thrive in this.
Oh, Musa will definitely get a lot better. I mean, he's already been at the Division I level. He knows what it takes to be, that good. But when you bring that athleticism of the year and a half of being under, the tight tutelage of a Division I program, he's ready, and he's going to come in and be seasoned for these incoming freshmen, these transfers. He's going to be a great fit with Coach Algadas in the system.
All right, we also had a quick interview with Cade Greeley, also talking about his decision to leave the University of Hawaii and come to SBVC. It kind of stems back to an injury, and I was talking to the two guys at practice the other day, Jeff, and it sounds like when Musa and Greeley were there, they didn't have a whole lot of time together. So they're actually kind of still forming that receiver, quarterback bond here at SBVC. But Cade Greeley talking about his decision to follow Musa out here to SBVC.
Yeah, when he first got there, I wasn't on the team because I had just medically retired at Hawaii, but we hooked up a couple times. I was teaching him everything I know about our offense, and we got a good connection out there. I told him, worst case scenario, just throw it high, and that's all I really tell him now here at San Bernardino.
Just put it up and you'll go get it.
Yeah, that's all he really needs to do, because it's going to be a mismatch on a linebacker most of the time, and then it's nickel. They're not tall guys. They're not safeties, so it's going to be a mismatch.
Was it a tough decision, a good decision to come here to SBVC? How did you make that one?
It was a tough decision because leaving Hawaii, since I medically retired, I was still on scholarship, so I wasn't doing anything with the team, but I was living out in Hawaii for free, getting my education paid for. I was still getting the check every month, but I just got bored. I just needed to do something, and then I came back here. Lance hit me up, and he's a longtime friend. He was my dad's receiver in high school, and I was like, I didn't even know I didn't even know I had that opportunity. So I was like, I'll come play for him. Sounds fun.
All right, that was Cade Greeley, the tight end that's going to be joining SBVC this season. And it sounds like he's not here yet, but it sounds like his brother Carson could be here at some point as well. But, man, that's going to be a pretty good combo. Musa to Greeley in the red zone this upcoming season for SBVC. And we mentioned RCC. They're going to come in probably one of the favorites again in the state, Jeff. When you look at the Tigers football program, we'll be covering them a little bit as we get closer to the football season. And a little bit later in the show, we'll also talk University of Redlands football with Vinny Fazio. He's going to be joining the team at KMET, KMET 1490 AM, the home of Bulldog football, home and away. So Vinny will be joining them for the home games. We'll talk a little U of R football because they're coming off a season in which they went 8-2. And they're starting to get local guys. In fact, I don't know for sure, but it looks like that Ukaipa quarterback Nathan Martinez will probably be their QB this season.
Oh, he was fun to watch last year. In fact, you and I have talked about him the last few years. Athletic, really really cerebral quarterback, one of those guys that can make decisions on the fly. He's just a fantastic athlete, very mobile, can throw the ball, and just has that toughness that University of Redlands will love.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy
No.
on the field, but he makes plays. He just simply makes plays. So I don't know what the quarterback battle is going to look like at the U of R. Maybe we can talk to Vinny about that. His dad, Skip, is one of the coaches out there. He's got his pulse on the Bulldogs. But, I'm hoping Nathan Martinez gets a lot of time to shine this upcoming season at the U of R. So we'll talk a little more U of R football later in the show. We also have Tim Cook coming up, the Life Pacific basketball coach and director of athletics. We're just going to talk all things basketball. They're a GSAC school, so NAIA, but they load up on all the Division I teams.
Good golly. I talked to him earlier today, and he was telling me his schedule, and I said, wait a second here. That is better than most Division I Power 5 conference schools. They're playing everybody. I mean, we're going to talk about that. It's pretty impressive, the slate he has set up.
Yeah, they're going to play some really good teams. Is UCR back on it?
UCR is back on. Yeah, they've got some tough ones. We're going to go over that schedule.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Tim Cook in just a little bit. And right around the corner in our next segment, the man himself, Matt Logan, the head football coach at Centennial.
The Sith Lord is going to join us?
He's going to call in. This is not a huge surprise, but nationally ranked. One of the top teams in Division I. It's going to be them. It's going to be Bosco and Mater Dei when all the dust settles at the end of the season. And they've got some big-time stars on offense and defense. Gary Bryant, the receiver, Corey Foreman on the defensive line. So Matt Logan's got some guys coming back. His quarterback, Friedland's coming back, and they got Ala McKaylee. So he's got some guys. I mean, they're going to be really good this year.
I'll tell you what, he always has guys, and they just keep coming through the pipeline. I'm sure he'll say there's a couple of transfers that have made their way over to Centennial. But, no, I mean, just every year. And it's nice to see that they're going to open the season against Mater Dei. That was the last loss they had last year. A little redemption. Be nice to get it out of the way early.
Yeah, that's a great point. We should ask him about that. The last team they played was Mater Dei, their first and only loss last season, and they're going to open up the season against Mater Dei. In fact, their season could be bookended by games against Mater Dei. They're seeing them in the opener. That could be a CIF championship game, too.
Good. Beat them twice.
All right, so coming up right around the corner, Matt Logan, the head football coach at Centennial. Big thanks to our sponsors, Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Make sure you check out their new location right off the 91 at Arlington. I heard it's popping off. Next time I get my oil change, which is actually pretty soon, I'm going to the new one just so I can spread the wealth a little bit.
You have to.
Deep in the Riv. So if you live in the Riv, go to that one. Ken Sporting Goods. Get all your sporting gear needs at Ken Sporting Goods, whether you're just going in there for some cleats or a mitt or maybe for the whole team. They can do uniforms as well. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Listen, there's always an off season for somebody. I know we're going into football, but if you're basketball or baseball, got to stay in that tip-top shape. Everyone else is going to get ahead of you if you're not at Boost.
There is no off season. As you can tell, that you and I are physically fit because we are Boost guys.
Yeah, Ray Bass at Boost is probably like, guys, don't be the poster boys for my program. If they're looking at us being like, oh, they go to Boost? Forget it. No, we love you, Boost, because they actually do produce like these fantastic athletes for all sports, too, not just football or basketball. They do everything, baseball, lacrosse, soccer. All right, when we come back, we're going to dial up the Sith Lord, Matt Logan, the head football coach at Centennial. We'll be back here on the Inland Sports Show. We are live at SBVC.
Inland Sports.
They introduced Kawhi and Paul George to the media yesterday, and there were several, I would call them, there were shots at the Lakers, but they were kind of subtle. Did you guys hear some of these shots at the Lakers? A little bit. So they asked Kawhi why he picked the Clippers and playing in the Lakers' shadow, and he's like, well, if you look at it, in recent years, the Clippers are the better team.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've tried to tell Laker fans, but they refuse to believe it.
They ain't hearing it. And that's the truth. I mean, it wasn't like a shot at the Lakers. It's just the truth. But 40, I'm glad you brought that up because some people are thinking, like conspiracy theorists are like, well, they're getting his brother with the hopes of maybe the Greek freak, the real one, right, from the Milwaukee Bucks would be like, man, I love the idea of playing with my brother. Yeah, I think I'll go to the Lakers. You know, there's that theory out there. In fact, I think Washington State got one vote to win the Pac-12. But
dude, that's what I was going to say. Washington State.
One vote, that's a win.
You'll take it, yeah. So you're telling me there's a chance?
I already won.
No, the consensus overall pick was kind of a landslide. Utah's the team to beat.
Yeah.
They had Oregon winning the North Division just ahead of Washington.
Wow.
USC, they said second. UCLA third in their divisions.
Inland Sports.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. Just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
And welcome back to SBVC. We're live here with the Inland Sports Show. We do a lot of high school football on the show, but today we're doing a little college football as well, talking about SBVC, the U of R, RCC. But we always talk high school football in every single show. And join us live right now on the show, one of our favorite guys. It's the head coach of the Centennial Huskies, Matt Logan. Coach, how are you doing today? Thanks for dropping in on the show for us. We appreciate that. We're doing pretty well. We're getting ready for football. Sounds like you're in the car right now driving around. What's the life like of Matt Logan right now as you try to gear up for another football season?
Yeah, this is the last 3 nights, so my wife and daughter are going to the street fair down in Huntington Beach. So we're just parking right now.
Oh, so we'll make this quick for you because we don't want you to take too long. We want you to get back to some fun stuff here. But Coach, you go into a season where, again, nationally ranked, a lot of great players coming back. I know the big names are like Gary Bryant, Corey Foreman. But, what are your expectations for this team? Because on paper it looks like it's pretty good. You got some guys back and a young offensive line that's kind of matured a little bit.
Right, yeah, our expectations is to compete for a series championship, just like it is every year, and try to get the state.
We're talking with Matt Logan here live on the Inland Sports Show, and we're previewing all the season. Division I for the playoffs. It always seems to come down to you guys and Mater Dei and Bosco at the end of the season. Do you feel like at the end of the day, you're going to play Mater Dei in your opener, but you're going to have to get through one of those teams to hang another championship banner?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to play one of the semis and one of the championships. If we're fortunate to get there. Back up. That way. I don't know how that'll go.
Now, Coach, how fresh is that defeat that you guys had last year at the very end versus Mater Dei? Is that still on the minds of your staff and your team as you guys are going into the season? Do you want to make an imprint to maybe, getting after Mater Dei to start that season?
I think it's always a good test when you play a high-quality team early. Last year's game is different. They lost some players, and so did we. And obviously, we learned a lot that game. And the score wasn't as bad as the game. It wasn't an indicator of the game per se. So we had an opportunity late in that game, and was down by 14 points, and get back in it, but we didn't capitalize. So we know the mistakes we made. Hopefully we'll play better, and either way, win or lose, we'll become a better team for having that game as our opener.
Talking with Matt Logan, the head football coach at Centennial, as the Huskies are gearing up for what should be another big season. Huge one right out of the gate against Mater Dei. But, Coach, your entire non-league schedule, as always, pretty tough. Again, it's to prepare you guys for that postseason run, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great competitive schedule, and we get to travel some places down to San Diego and out to Long Beach, so it'll be good tough game environments to help prepare us for playoffs.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, we mentioned Gary Bryant and Corey Foreman, but who are the other guys that we need to keep an eye on this season for the Huskies? Because I'm sure you've got some playmakers all around the field.
Yeah, we got Josiah Tanalu coming back at linebacker. Charles, we're really excited about our secondary. We got Charles Sims at safety, Isaiah Young returning at corner, and JT Dozier returns to us after a year hiatus as a sophomore starter for us. He's going to play some outside linebacker. That's on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we got Brandon Alvarez returning to receiver, Aaron Smith returning to receiver, and then the big guys up front, Robert Rojas, Devin Spencer, Christian Herrera. So we're looking for big things out of those guys.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Go back to the fun. So thank you for carving out a couple minutes for us, because I know time is running out because football season is here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, that's Matt Logan, the head football coach at Centennial. Again, trying to squeeze in a little bit of fun down at the beach before football season hits. Jeff, you're a former coach. You know how it goes, right? I mean, time's going to run out. Once you get into season, it's kind of over, right?
Oh, I mean, just like he said, it's the last day. He said he's going to take his wife out because he's not going to – his wife is going to be a football widow for the next few months. So, yeah, you got to do what's best for the family before you start the season. But I don't think he needs to worry too much. I think they're probably already in game shape and ready to go.
I'm sure Centennial's just fine.
Yeah.
One, they lost to Mater Dei in the CIF D1 semis last season.
Yeah.
Probably that week after he started preparing for this year.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Again, we are live at SBVC. We're going to take another quick commercial break. When we come back, is Tim Cook, is he ready to go?
He is fired up. He is texting me and ready to go.
All right, we're going to hear from Tim Cook, the head basketball coach, director of athletics at Life Pacific. Talk a little hoops with him when we come back on the Inland Sports Show.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
And welcome back live to SBVC. Again, we're talking a lot of football these days, a lot of college football, high school football. Big thanks to Matt Logan, the head football coach at Centennial, for joining us. But, Jeff, once in a while, you just got to hoop it up, right?
Always. I tell you what, I've been doing basketball all summer. I worked 3 weeks of basketball camp, and I will say this, though. My favorite part of the year is high school football, but as we get into the college basketball stuff, there's nothing in the world better than college basketball.
Well, we are excited about it, too. And this guy, he's been a regular on our show for a long, long time. He's the head basketball coach at Life Pacific, director of athletics, and a dear friend of the show. It's Tim Cook. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be back on. And the last time I talked to you guys was, long time, too long. But
Yeah.
we have been from Life Pacific College to Life Pacific University. And it's just been amazing. And hopefully we're off and running. But it's great to hear from you guys. And I love being on the show.
Well, Coach, it's always good to talk to you, and you're one of our favorite guys around. As you get ready for this season, how have you spent your summer?
Basketball, fortunately and unfortunately, we've signed 10 kids for next year, and 8 freshmen from the area and 2 transfers, and we're just trying to build going into the Golden State Athletic Conference and how tough of a league it is. And then obviously we're playing our Division I slate again this next year, and we can talk a little bit about that. But it's just been a lot of basketball. I couldn't even go to the summer league this year, Jeff. That's the first year I've missed in years because I was busy recruiting.
What are you doing? I'll tell you what, I'm looking at your schedule right now. You play UC Riverside, you got UC Irvine, you have another future Big West matchup with Cal State Bakersfield and Boise State. Come on, can you pick an easier schedule?
I like the lashings that we get. No, I've always done that. I think it's been incredible for the program. We can get it out on media circuits, and I think we compete really well. I think we've got a really good young group. I think we could surprise some people in the league, but I only have one senior, and so I think the future is really bright. And we just have some great kids. I got some all CIF kids coming in, and what I really like, you guys, we've talked about this before. I've recruited the local area, and I just think it's really important. We have no better recruiting grounds than Southern California,
Well, yeah, you're right in the center. I mean, literally in the center of recruiting. You've got your son who's a great player at Damien. I mean, heck, you should be able to get a couple of those guys just off of runoffs because it's perfectly centrally located in Southern California to get some of those guys.
I just think it's awesome, Jeff. We got a Bishop Amont's best kid. We have a kid from Damien. We have a kid from Etowanda coming in, and those are 3 of the top probably 10 to 15 programs in the whole state in each division, open division, Division I, and we're not just getting the end of the bench guys. We're getting real players from those programs, and it just builds in the community. We're going to have the gym packed because we have so many fan base now, and I'm so excited, you guys, in year 4 and coming off 2 national tournaments, but also making that jump into a bigger league has been a tough development, and it's just a building process. So we're going to do it trial by fire like we always do. I take the Gonzaga approach. Let's play everybody above us and see how we do and compete, and then we need to build into our own level and play some games that maybe we could win, and then go into conference and see how, we've already been through some trials and the fire and see how we do in our conference, because you've got to be really, really good. There's a lot of Division I players in our conference.
Hey, Coach, is that a big selling point for Life Pacific is when you go talk to these guys about being Warriors, that you say, hey, we've got a bunch of Division I programs on the schedule. So not only are we going to go out and compete in a really good GSAC, but we're going to play some Division I teams as well. So there's a lot to be excited about when you look at that Life Pacific schedule.
Yeah, and it really does help us. I mean, we're always obviously recruiting Division II type players, and I think that not only the relationship you build with the kids, but it really does matter when you can go into arenas that they might not be able to go into regularly, and you give them that special look at what a collegiate program can do. And and the branding and going into the arena. Like, we're going into Boise State. There's 18,000 seats in that arena. And that's just what a special time for those kids to go in and compete and just value what we're trying to do. And it helps the university and drives the brand. And you guys, it couldn't be any better, I think. You know, the only real downfall is if you do get run out of the gym, if you don't play well that night, those teams could beat you up pretty good. But usually we're well prepared and you know, we're ready to go to compete. So.
Well, Jeff and I had the privilege of calling your game, I guess it was 2 seasons ago. I guess we're getting old, against Azusa Pacific. And Coach, I mean, you weren't far off APU. I mean, you're in the ballpark there. You know, we talked about some of the Division I programs, but, you know, you brought up Division II. And, I mean, you're right there on the heels of APU in terms of, you know, that talent level.
Enter the pro league together at South Hills High School that has been one of the greatest things that I've seen in development for our team. The young guys are getting experience against guys like Malik Story and UCLA kids and USC kids and ex-pros and stuff. And I think for some of these D1s that get to go to year, is staying local and playing against pros and skill development. We're seeing a lot. Championship game. Hudson is making an official visit to host state, and they have officially offered him and made him a #1 priority at the wing position. And then we've got other things going on, Kansas State and UC Irvine and University of San Diego, and we're trying to narrow some things down to just make sure that we're not doing quantity, but we're doing quality. You know, I really want him to trim the list down to 5 and really concentrate on where he wants to go academically, spiritually, and who he thinks can develop him the best in all those different attributes. But gosh, Jeff, he had an unbelievable summer. Dallas, Texas, and Damien in June, and his development has just been what a blessing to watch him play basketball. And he's a great kid.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. I wish we had more time because there's so many things we can talk about, but we got to run. We got to keep this in a 1-hour show here. But, Coach, we got to do this again because there's so many things we could still talk about.
Oh, you got to know I love coming on the show, and you have the #1 fan here. I'm so glad to be back, and I appreciate you guys so much. But anytime, I love it. Thank you for everything.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Tim Cook from Live Pacific, Coach. Let's do it again soon, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Cook. All right, that's your boy Tim Cook. He was an assistant at CBU. Is that right? He was an
assistant at CBU. He has been everywhere, and finally, you know, he was at San Diego Christian. Comes down, takes over Life Pacific, and I'll tell you what, it's a great program. He does a great job. The players love him. Everybody likes Coach Cook. Everyone. So if you're a young player and you're looking to play somewhere, that is a great, great place.
All right. Again, we are live at SBVC. It's getting a little bit darker as the sun is setting. Watch, I'm going to fix that. Let there be lights.
Look at that. It's kind of overcast here. It's kind of nice. It's kind of cool.
No, it is. Like, you can still see the mountains in the background, but just barely as the clouds are kind of making their way in here at SBVC. Let's take another commercial break. We'll talk more high school football, and we still got to get to Vinny Fazio here, he's going to be calling the U of R football games on KMET 1490 AM this season. Plus, I mean, he's still the Los Osos offensive coordinator, so he's got a full plate this football season.
He is a busy guy, and he's got 2 little kids now.
I know. He's got a new baby in the house. All kinds of stuff going on for the Fazios.
Wild man.
All right, we'll be back here on the Inland Sports Show. We're live at SBVC.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change.
How you guys doing? Coach Bass here. We're back at the BPC. Wanted to share with you guys what we're doing today in the gym. Today is all about backward movement. So if you're a football player, lacrosse player, soccer, basketball, any sport that requires backward movement, this drill's for you. Come check it out. So what the athletes are doing here, they're doing a back lateral run, So what I'm looking for here is I want their head back, all right? They're gonna hit a lateral run, they're gonna hit a quick transition. So this is a 90-degree cut, so on all of our 90-degree cuts, it's a single foot cut. And what I'm looking for is just a nice and fluid lateral run with their head looking back. They're gonna dip that inside shoulder, make a nice, crisp and clean cut. They wanna stay on a tight rope, and they wanna accelerate out of it. So for this drill here, it's very similar to the last drill that we just watched. Now we're hitting our lateral run, and we're going at a 135-degree angle. So we're taking it up a notch, we're increasing that angle. So now we're still getting that single foot cut off the inside edge of our foot, and then we want to decelerate at the cone. So again, we want to make a nice and sharp transition. We want to dip that inside shoulder, we want to decelerate. So that's our boost training tip of the day. Thanks for checking us out again. And make sure you stay up to date with everything that's Boost. Check our schedules, check our videos at our website at www.boosttrainingsystems.com. Check out our Twitter at boost_training and our Instagram at boosttraining. Grind hard, stay solid.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
And welcome back. High atop SBVC, the Wolverines with their football practice in the background. Because, Jeff, I mean, football season's here. We're wrapping up the month of July, and then the helmets and pads are going to come out, and here we go.
Oh, heck, we've got college football. We've got high school football starting in less than a month, like 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today almost.
It's unbelievable. So week 0 would be, August 23rd, that
Yes.
Friday night. But we do have a Thursday night game, and I'm glad you brought that up because we're actually going to have it live on the Inland Sports Channel, live radio, and it's going to be Paloma Valley on the road at Norte Vista. And, Jeff, that's a great game on paper. That's two really good teams.
Yeah, you got Paloma Valley, who's been notoriously good for the last decade.
Yeah.
And, Norte Vista, who every single year they seem to rebuild with great running backs and an offensive line, and they run that, that smash mouth double wing football. Yeah, that'll be definitely a great game to start the season. We're going to gauge how good both those teams are going to be.
Yeah, so Paloma Valley against Norte Vista. We're going to get it cracking. That is week 0, so August 22nd. And as far as I know, in terms of Inland Empire schools, I think that's the only game that night. So we're gonna cover that one hard as we go on Thursday night. And then Friday night, Jeff, you'll have, I think it's Hillcrest and Arlington on Riverside TV.
Arlington will be the tip-off, or the kickoff, I should say, of the 2019 season. I can't wait to join those guys over at Riverside TV with Ghazal Hassan and Scotty Brocious and those guys over there. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah, and also we're going to be talking a lot about our friends over at KMET 1490 AM as well. They're going to have not only U of R, but they do some high school football. In fact, their core areas like the Beaumont Banning area, but listen, Beaumont's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And Jeff Steinberg's kind of revitalized that whole program. So I think I get ready for a heavy dose of Beaumont football this year.
Very much.
So I think their season opener off the top of my head, I think it's Beaumont against Palm Desert. That would be the season opener. And I believe that's a week 0 game as well. So there's going to be a full slate. And every week here on the Inland Sports Show, we'll keep you up to date on the broadcast schedule. So we'll have the Inland Sports Show. We'll have the Riverside TV, the Valverde game, Teen Vision TV 16, KMET 1490 AM. We'll remind you about Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. If there's any college football, SBVC on IEMG. I guess I could say it. We might do some RCC games on Riverside
TV.
We are
covering 5 Riverside RCC games this season, all home games. In fact, I believe we are going to have the Riverside San Bernardino Valley game at Wheelock, which will be a great one.
Should be a fantastic game. Last year, it was a shootout. SBVC hung for a while, but I think it was 70-something to 30-something or something like that.
It was 100-plus points scored in that game.
It was a
fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch. I was up here with Vinny Fazio, man. We were calling the game, and I'm like, this is the longest game in the history of football.
The one thing you can say about JC football, some of those games can last quite a bit. Quite a long time, 4 or 5 hours.
By 10 o'clock, you're like starving. Early in the season, you're all hot and sweaty. You're like, hey, come on.
Yep.
Coach Algadas, run the football. Come on, let's get out of here.
Stop throwing the ball. Hand off.
So a lot of football, and again, as we get closer to the football season and throughout the football season, we'll keep you updated on all the live game broadcasts and the shows each and every week. Now, on a previous Inland Sports Show 2 weeks ago, we talked about our favorite Week 0 games. Just Week 0, Jeff, just that first week of the season. Now we singled out our 10 favorite games just in non-league in general, the first, I guess I'd say 6 weeks of the high school football season, counting Week 0. So these are like 10 of our favorite games in non-league plays. And we'll start from 10 and work our way up quickly. Murrieta Valley against Santiago. Listen, Hank Bachmeyer's gone. Blake Barnett's gone.
That's right.
But that's still a fantastic game. That's 2 great teams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you talk about you mentioned Centennial and you mentioned Roosevelt had great quarterback. Santiago is in that same boat. And just athlete for athlete, that'll be a great game.
We also have Rev against Heritage. Remember, Rev snuck up and got Heritage last year.
That is right.
12-6 or something like that?
It was ridiculous.
It was a weird scoring game.
But then you have the best one is the next one. It should be number 1, Pep.
It should. Well, we can put it to the top.
Bounce that to number 1. That's the all-time rival right there.
Now, it's called the Solar Series, right?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. I have no idea.
But you're a Ramona guy.
I'm a Ramona guy, but I have no idea why they call it the Solar Series. But because maybe it's been around since the beginning of time.
Maybe. Like the first solar eclipse. They're like, Poly Ramona.
Poly Ramona. That is the true rivalry right there.
So you got that one. You have Beaumont versus Bandy, the war for the wheel. So you had some people watching the solar eclipse and the other guys inventing the wheel, and they had big football games going. No, I don't know.
And then you got the Holy War.
It's always a big one.
That's a giant one. They play for a shield, and do they have a sword too, or just a shield?
I think there might be a sword involved.
Awesome. Anytime you can play for a sword in a championship, that's awesome.
And then checking in number 6, 2 of the best public schools. I say public because we're going to throw out the Trinity League. Centennial against Long Beach Poly, which was a great matchup the last couple of years. They haven't played in a while, but it's kind of cool to see them renew that rivalry. At number 5, the Rancho Verde and Norco High School. Again, just a matchup of 2 of the top teams in our area.
Yeah, I mean, just tough games right there. Norco's reloading big time. They've got a new quarterback. We'll get to see him this year.
And Rancho Verde's got A.J. Duffy.
And they say he's the best sophomore quarterback in the entire area.
He is a stud. And at number 4, Aquinas against Kaiser. Aquinas was the only defense to shut down Christian Hunter and the Kaiser Cats last year.
That's right. But Billy Cardosi's got to reload there, too.
Oh, he will. He always does. We've got Vista Murrieta against Norco. I feel like Vista Murrieta's kind of turned that corner again, and they're one of the elite programs, not only in the Inland Empire, but the entire southern section. That's a big one. Number 2, listen, Jeff, I just salivate all over this game every single year.
It was a great one last year.
Yeah, Cajon and Heritage. Jaden Daniels might be gone. I know Heritage lost some guys, but both of those are programs. It's not like, hey, they have one good year, they're going to fall off. No, these guys are going to be good year in and year out. And on paper, and they're both Division III.
Ooh.
So I'm just saying, we're seeing this game early in the year. We might see that same exact game deep in the playoffs. Who knows? That could be a championship game.
That would be a fun one, to say the least.
And number 1, and you've got to pick it number 1 because this was a CIF Southern Section Division II championship game a season ago. Upland at the Rancho Verde, and that was such a great game last year. I know A.J. Duffy was injured. Jackson Turner stepped in at quarterback. Right. It was such a great game. I wish Rancho was at full strength because that would have been even better. You know, Upland's got Justin Flo, the number 1 linebacker in the world.
Yes.
At least at the high school level.
Yes.
So that's got to be number one, I guess, just for the simple fact it's a rematch.
Of course. Championship rematches. You gotta have a little bit of redemption there, and that could be a good one to start the year.
Yeah, Rancho Verde's going to get another shot at Upland. Okay, when we come back after another commercial break, we will talk to Vinny Fazio, the offensive coordinator at Los Osos, also local broadcaster, and he loves Twitter. Oh, he's in fact, he's probably tweeting right now. He's so strong in the Twitter game. We'll ask him about that as well when we come back on the Inland Sports Show live at SBVC.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
How you guys doing? Coach Bass here. We're back at the BPC. Wanted to share with you guys what we're doing today in the gym. Today is all about backward movement. So if you're a football player, lacrosse player, soccer, basketball, any sport that requires backward movement, this drill's for you. Come check it out. So what the athletes are doing here, they're doing a back lateral run. So what I'm looking for here is I want their head back, all right? They're gonna hit a lateral run, they're gonna hit a quick transition. So this is a 90-degree cut. So on all of our 90-degree cuts, it's a single foot cut. And what I'm looking for is just a nice and fluid lateral run with their head looking back. They're gonna dip that inside shoulder, make a nice, crisp and clean cut. They wanna stay on a tight rope, and they wanna accelerate out of it. So this drill here, it's very similar to the last drill that we just watched. Now we're hitting our lateral run, and we're going at a 135-degree angle. So we're taking it up a notch. We're increasing that angle. So now we're still getting that single foot cut off the inside edge of our foot, and then we want to decelerate at the cone. So again, we want to make a nice and sharp transition. We want to dip that inside shoulder. We want to decelerate. So that's our boost training tip of the day. Thanks for checking us out again. And make sure you stay up to date with everything that's Boost. Check our schedules, check our videos at our website at www.boosttrainingsystems.com. Check out our Twitter at boost_training and our Instagram at boosttraining. Grind hard, stay solid.
And welcome back to SBVC as the Wolverines are just wrapping up their practice here. Coach Elgadas and the guys in the background. Again, this is a summer workout. This is the team, but there's no helmets, there's no pads, just kind of running some routes, getting competitive.
A little 7-on-7 action.
Yeah, so
they got to work on their offense and defensive schemes a little bit. Nothing too serious though.
No, so they'll get serious probably, I think, in another 2 weeks or so. But let's go right now to the Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change Celebrity Hotline. He's a dear friend of the show. He always dresses up for the occasion. It's our friend Vinny Fazio, who I think is at Los Osos practice right now. Coach, how are you doing?
Pep, I just called the play. I'm walking off the field right now. We just got done. I'm walking off the field. You were texting me. I was calling the last set of our team offense, and now I'm walking off the field.
That's a beautiful thing. You're coaching. You're doing media stuff. I mean, you do it all.
And he's a new dad again. I mean, you've got 2 little Rugrats running around now, correct?
Coach, I just always wonder why nobody tells you not to have that second kid. Nobody tells you. Nobody tells you how much more work that second kid is. That's what I always wonder. Maybe it's because it's like your dad, and your dad can't tell you you shouldn't have more kids or something.
You're like, it sounded like a good idea.
The second kid ramps up it's exponentially harder. The more kids, not like, it's a little bit harder. It's exponentially harder.
Well, Coach Fazio over there at Los Osos, the offensive coordinator, also joining KMET 1490 AM this season, University of Redlands football. Coach, before we get to the broadcasting stuff, we always talk high school football. We talk a lot about the quarterback position, and at Los Osos, you've got one of the best around in the Inland Empire right now. Your quarterback at Los Osos.
Coach, we have a really good quarterback. Donovan Smith is really good. He's gotten so much better over the last couple of years, and he really kind of started to find himself right around the Kaiser game last year. So we went from like a wing T team to a team that was throwing the heck out of it because we figured out what we had in him, and he's just gotten better and better and better. He is one of the hardest working kids I've ever coached. He's so football smart that, if I had to take your call 5 minutes earlier, Donovan was going to call the offense. I mean, he could call the offense for us and we would be totally fine. He just is such a big difference maker, and we've got some playmakers we could put around him. But he is the guy that makes it go, man. He gets the ball to the right guy. It's like having an elite level point guard. Coach Gorham will tell you, he makes everybody better because he gets the ball in the right guy's hands all the time.
We're talking with Vinny Fazio at Los Osos right now, calling plays, running off the field, doing the media thing as well. Coach, when you look at the baseline league, what do you think Los Osos kind of stacks up in that one?
I think the baseline league is really, really good. It's just really, really good. So everything's a battle. We have a really hard non-league too. We open up with James Logan. I know you're a California man,
That's
so you
Union
probably
City.
remember.
That's Union City. Yeah.
And you probably remember when James Logan was, before De La Salle was De La Salle, James Logan was the team to beat in Northern California.
Now, how did that come together?
They have a ton. Well, I think they were looking for games. They have a second-year coach. He's really good, Ricky Rodriguez, and he came from Encinal. You probably know where that is too, up there. And he was looking for a travel game, and him and Coach Pierce connected, and so they're going to come down. And so we're talking about a program with a lot of athletes and a program with a lot of history. And then our second game is Dorsey, who's another program with a lot of athletes and a lot of history. So, I haven't really started looking too much at the baseline league yet. I've been so focused on kind of those first couple games, and we're going to have to fight and kick, and we're playing a couple really, really good athletic teams. And once you get to the league, everybody's good. There's no, you're in a dogfight every week. But I think we're a little bigger. We're a little stronger this year. Coach Pierce is doing the defense. I think we've found some things defensively this year. So, we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to compete, and we're going to need some breaks. Everybody does, but we're going to need some breaks in those league games because everybody's so good.
Hey, Coach, also, I think you're scrimmaging Rancho Verde. Is that correct?
We are. I don't know why.
Well, to get ready for James Logan and
no,
Dorsey,
you're right. You're right. When you play teams like that early, I was really mad at Pierce about our scrimmage. I go, gosh, dang it! What are we doing scrimmaging those guys? And then he talked to the coach from Logan, and he said they're scrimmaging Concord de La Salle.
Oh my gosh!
So I guess I can't be too mad. I mean, as bad as his scrimmage Rancho Verde, I guess scrimmaging de La Salle doesn't sound like any fun either.
Man, they must think highly of Los Osos up north because they're like, man, we got to scrimmage de La Salle to get ready for those guys.
Yeah, right. We have a lot in common, sir. And we're going to throw it 65 times. So anyway, you know what though? Like I said, we're better. We got a couple names that I think are going to surprise people. Tony Tedesco, that was a defensive guy that's kind of a tight end pass catcher for us this year. We're going to play a true freshman at running back, Solomon Davis, who's a name that you're going to hear a lot of in high school football in the next 4 years. Hopefully all 4 for us.
Yeah, no, that's the trick, right? Keeping them around.
The way it goes now, but you're going to hear a lot of this kid. We're talking about a stud running back. Now he's a freshman, so he's still a 14-year-old kid, but he's going to really be something. We're Isaiah Wimbush, a kid that transferred from Orange Lutheran, playing some receiver for us. So we've got some weapons around Donovan. But the biggest thing I tell Pierce every day, we got to keep Donovan upright. Yeah. We got to keep him healthy and upright because it's a big difference when we have him versus not having him. So, we got to kind of keep him on his feet.
Well, Coach Fazio, we got to kind of wrap this up here because we're kind of up against it right now. But I did want to bring up, you are joining the U of R radio broadcast on our friends over at ABC Radio, KMET 1490 AM. And you were built for this. I mean, you played at Claremont. Your dad's a coach at the U of R. My biggest question for you is, are you still going to dress up? Is it still going to be bow tie on game night?
Oh, Coach, it's always bow tie on game night. It's business time. It's business time when we got to call the game. I'm excited. I tried to tell them no. I was going to say no, and they just kind of were persistent and talked me into it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think Redlands has a really good team. Kai Thompson, the running back, and Nathan Martinez are some local flavor guys.
Yeah, Kai out of Murrieta Mesa, if I remember correctly.
Murrieta Mesa, if you remember him a couple years ago from Murrieta Mesa, I think he's going to be dynamite for them as a running back. And Nathan Martinez from Yucaipa, and they've got most of their guys back on defense. They've got a lot of bodies back on defense, so they're going to be right there in the mix. Claremont is really good again. So it should be a good league, and I'm really looking forward to it. I might have to button up my routine a little bit, though. I was getting a little loose with you here the last year or two, so I might have to button it up a little for the Sky Act.
I'm not the most formal guy around. Yeah, you might.
me and you were riffing a little bit by the end of it. So,
man, these JC games go long. I mean, we had to, 4 hours into it.
Well, and we don't have any breaks. We're not taking commercial breaks or whatever. We're going 4 hours straight of straight material. We're doing a radio show every time we would do those Valley games. So at least here, I'm going to have some commercial breaks and maybe get out of there in 3 hours instead of 4. My dad would be texting me. Our games would start at 6 and theirs would start at 7. And Skip would be texting me. They were already done. We were still in like the third quarter at those Valley games.
Unbelievable. Goddess loves the throw. That's why we love them, I guess.
Yeah, 80 throws. But hey, whatever, man. They're winning a bunch of games. So throw it as many times as you want.
Well, Coach, we got to roll. We got to do this again so we can talk a lot more about football. But congrats on the U of R broadcasting, and good luck with Los Osos this year.
Coach, I'm excited about both of those things. I appreciate you guys having me on. You can call me anytime, Pep. I feel like since you've gone to the new format, I've been de-emphasized. So I'd like to be getting back on here a little bit, man.
Only if you wear a bow tie. We'll bring you in studio.
You have Logan on every week. Now, I know it's Matt Logan, but he's like a regular. He's on every single week. I haven't been on in a year.
Yeah. Vinny, we love you, brother, and we'll talk soon.
Talk to you later, Pep.
Thanks, Vinny.
See ya. Vinny Fazio join us live on the show. One more live look at SBVC. Vinny joined me on the call for Wolverine football last year, but he'll be over at the U of R. But we're still going to have all the games on IEMG this year. We're going to mix in, sounds like some RCC broadcasts on Riverside TV as well. So it's going to be a very busy football season. Big thanks to our sponsors again. Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, new location off the 91 in Arlington. Kin Sporting Goods, and Boost Performance Training. We appreciate you watching the Inland Sports Show. And for Jeff Gorm, do you have any parting words? I feel like you've been quiet tonight. I think you're so hungry. You're just thinking about
I am
the
starving
food.
for food, and I'm excited. I'll tell you what, though, I'm fired up for football season getting ready right around the corner.
All right, we'll see you next week. We'll be back in studio at Teen Vision TV 16 with another edition of the Inland Sports Show.